Ese que no le digo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back to this here booth. Nate and I are going to go ahead and do a quick rundown on the playoffs. It's going to be a bit shorter today because it's basically just roasting each other for getting things wrong. And listening to you guys roast us for getting things wrong, which honestly, I wouldn't miss it for the world. Real quick, just at like the top of the episode, I just want to note that we have 3 matches being played tonight. Well, 2 definitely, and the third is a maybe. But then after that, all of our finals will be set. And ideally the finals all get played before, excuse me, a lot of coffee in the system. All the finals will get played before next Sunday, which would be the 20th. So that we can do a quick rundown on the whole league. So it's definitely going to be really exciting to watch this whole thing go down. But yeah, so without further ado, I'm just going to go back. I don't know if you guys were here for the last one, you know that both Nate and I, which was about 2 weeks ago, both Nate and I made brackets for all the playoffs, and we did really bad. So we're gonna go in the same order we did last time, from economy to commercial to financial to executive. So let's go ahead and check those bad boys out. So we'll start with my bracket, which I got wrong pretty bad. I got 2 out of the 4 quarterfinals matches correct. And yeah, it ended up being pretty interesting. So I think the big thing for the economy bracket for both Nate and me is the fact that Final Brain Cell goes down in quarterfinals. Final Brain Cell was the team that both Nate and I had predicted to go to finals and win, and they got knocked out in quarters by Sector 7. So that was the huge upset. And Nate, can you kind of walk me through a little bit of exactly what went down with Final Brain Cell on that one?
So, watching this series, I think it was really just like they would have these like maybe strong or even early games. They'd get to mid game,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe lose a fight. Someone in like it was usually someone in the side lane would bring their strength to a team fight, and then we'd get an idea that maybe they are a lot stronger than we last remembered and stuff like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so then, and that happened basically in back-to-back games. We saw game one, it was Orn, got a couple solo kills on Irelia,
Yep.
then was like 0 and I think 4, 0 and 4, 0 and 5 Irelia,
Yep.
just came back, solo killed Orn. And then like people were like, oh, that's not good.
Right. Yeah.
So basically that came through, and I think that happened in both games where it was kind of like, yes, Brain Cell had these decent early games, and they could team fight well, but they kind of failed to, I think, finish up a lot of games.
Yeah, so it was like they had the manpower. It was just kind of putting it all in the right place at the right time, making that whole puzzle come together, and kind of getting to that whole being greater than the sum of its parts. Yeah, so it's definitely really surprising, huge upset. So, but I think we can't take away from the strength of Sector 7 on that one.
And I mean,
And I think Sector 7 really they showed up and showed out after kind of like they had a fine season. I'm tabbing over
yeah,
to the standings now.
yeah,
And they did
I
fine.
finished
They were tied
five.
for first in Group D, and they just ended up losing that tiebreaker. And I think this was
Mhm.
actually one of the things that, if I remember correctly, I highlighted 2 weeks ago. I was like, look, like Sector 7 is like coming up, and they're taking these tiebreakers and they're contending. Like, this could be a good match, and then it ended up being a great match. With a huge upset, so massive props to the players from Sector 7, and we hope that Final Brain Cell sticks around and we see them again next season. Yeah, and then I guess the other thing to kind of mention here is Meowington kind of on a heater. Meowington now beating Sector 7. They're up into the finals now. So that's going to be really cool. And then tonight, this is one of our remaining semifinals matches. Tonight, Serenity Esports Academy takes on Victory around 9 p.m., if I'm reading my notes correctly, which, given my handwriting, is always a bit of a coin toss. And
It
so that's going to
is.
be a really exciting match. So can you do you have any preliminary predictions? I mean, I know that we made the predictions
Okay.
of Serenity going to finals, but we both predicted that they'd be taking on C and D in this. Does Victory being there change anything?
Uh, I'm like in between, right? So I've got two. I personally am a big fan of Victory. I didn't. If I once again I said I think if there's any team that I expected to beat C and D, it would be Victory.
Mm-hmm.
Especially any team that I expected to make a round one upset, it was Victory. Obviously, they did as well as Sector Seven did. Um, but so and they look honestly stronger than I expected.
Yeah.
So I think they could beat Serenity Academy.
Mm-hmm.
I will still go with Serenity though.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 2-1. I don't think they'll just get away with a 2-0 here though.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely think it's going to be a hard fought victory, so to speak. Victory, the team Victory has been kind of training against. They were in the same group as Meowington Gold. They were also in your group.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, do you know anything about them that could kind of start to go against Serenity Esports Academy, who have, definitely a very strong powerhouse top laner in Legate, who, like, I'm definitely excited to see him, start to move up in these leagues and to see, what he can do when given kind of like harder opponents, so to speak. Because, we've seen pretty big success stories and we've seen not so success stories. Jackie boy. So, it'll be cool. It'll be cool to see that happen. So anything you can speak to on that match?
Did you lose? Anyways, I think Victory is just a really good team. They're a great team. They make decisions together, they move together, they fight well. I wouldn't really even. I think their top laner, Lails, or Leyylz, however you want to pronounce that. He's a great solo laner. I think he can cause problems and really make the enemy's job hard. I think their jungler gets across the map, causes problems. Their bot lane is solid, and their mid laner kind of does their job.
Yeah.
I think it's when they get all those cohesive pieces together is really good. And I know Lails is like can barely make matches, but the same thing. This team, I've seen them play like 7 members during the season.
Victory?
Which, yeah.
Yeah.
Victory's played at least like 7 members during this season. Honestly, when I see a team that can play 7 members and still look good with all of those separate pieces moving in and out, I think that's a sign that the team has great cohesion in this. That even if it's not a system in the traditional sense, I think it is a kind of vibe, just like something that works, where you just have people playing the game together and it works. So I think they'll definitely put up a fight. If they win, I wouldn't be surprised. I think but then again, a lot of things happen so far in this playoffs that is like I could see whoever winning, and I'm not sure. I've been unfazed. I think Brain Cell losing caught me off guard enough to where I'd be like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's really counting against Victory for me is the fact that their support and captain, DJ Sona Give Me Bono, which, by the way, good name.
Great name,
you saw an opportunity and you said, I'm going for that. And not only that, I'm going to go play in competitive leagues too. So I give you props for that. However, I don't give you props because you took not only Exhaust, but Glacial Augment on Rel. So I hope you lose. So Serenity 2-0 over Victory. And yeah, so we shall be excited to see who goes to that finals matchup playing against Meowington. If it ends up being Victory, it'll be really interesting because Victory's been playing against Meowington the whole season. And, not necessarily winning either. So, how is that going to change? What are they going to bring to the table? And then if Serenity goes, it's like 2 massive powerhouses. I mean, they both had like significant points. So Serenity had 8 points. Meowington had 10. Although it's like debatable on like the strength of those different leagues. And so, or the different groups. So it'll be really interesting to see like, okay, can Serenity clutch out this? Thanks, Legate. He'll do it for me. Avenge the atrocity. So who will come out on top? So I think if Victory goes to finals, Meowington probably like 3-0, 3-1. And I think if Serenity goes to finals, I'm going to go ahead and say that it's going to be a 5-game series. And I think it's a bit of a coin toss which direction it goes. Do you have any preliminary predicts?
I think Meow Inc. will probably take it, no matter who their opponent is. Probably, I'd say 3-1. Probably. I think Victory is a really good team in that they're cohesive, but I think they might get a game after the first 2. I think they'll get Gentleman Swap where it's you win 2, lose 1, win the 3rd. Whereas with Serenity, I'm interested to see what happens because I think Legate is amazing, and I've always thought Legate was really, really good at the game, especially at our level. One thing though is I think Silnari, who is the Meow Inc. jungler, is absolutely cracked, and I'm not too sure that top side from their mid to their top, I think is probably the best top side in econ.
Right.
Um, so I could very easily see that team just like stomping through what they have right now.
Yeah.
Mixed T is MXTI. I forgot it's just the what you call it. MXTI is a really versatile laner who is willing to just say, I will put down my, carry tops and play tanks and
Yeah.
supports, while Foolish, Shaka, Silnari, Kavino Takino, Tocino,
Tocino.
Tocino, will also kind of can swap from being a really good MF, plays the Vagar.
Mm-hmm.
Every player is so versatile that I
Right.
think the team as a whole will probably be able to persevere.
Yep. All right. Cool. Well, that's it. That's all that I have for economy. I'm really excited to see how these matches go. He played Karma, so therefore the council denies him the title of top laner.
As a
Just
fellow top
just
laner,
because you can't play against it doesn't mean that he's no longer a top laner.
makes you weak. Sorry, like it.
It's a valid strategy, for sure. Let's jump on over to commercial now. So looking at my bracket, I went ahead and I got three three out of the 4 quarterfinals predictions. Wrong. I'm pretty sure you got a similar number, but anyway,
Yeah.
so
I was
it's
about to say.
but the big thing here is Group C finals. So Bricks coming in strong. So they they beat out Crime Babies, and then they beat out Michigan Men Remastered, and now it's a Bricks Strix finals. Manzano, if you guys haven't checked out the diss tracks that Manzano has dropped, go to the Trash
Are you
Talk
about to
channel
start playing
now.
them?
I'm not gonna play it because that sounds like hell to try to balance the volume of. Go to Trash Talk channel and start and play both of them. There's 2. The second one is really freaking good. And Manzano, if you ever want a job at Panther Core, my DMs are open. So yes, I am openly poaching players on stream.
Shameless, yeah. It's like hopeless.
Whatever.
No, shameless.
But anyway, so I think the big thing here is, okay, so Strix and Bricks have been facing each other all season, and if I remember correctly from the chitter chatter I've heard from the Sentinels who were in their group, is that Bricks has never taken a game off of Strix yet. Now we don't know what's happened behind the scenes in scrims or anything like that. However, we do know that on the official record, Bricks hasn't beaten Strix. So, what can Bricks do to take new heat to Sensei Randall's in the finals?
Beat 'em.
Yeah, no, good. Yeah, okay. And moving on to
I think-
financial,
Well, my thing would probably be you've got to shut down that bot lane. Verja is a man amongst boys, if you will, despite
Yep.
his age, that's really funny to me. Very, very good player,
Yeah.
and just absolutely just will have an impact on the game ahead or behind, which is very scary, especially for a position like ADC with the characters that are good at the position right now.
Yeah.
Slothman is also a support that really never gives up at any point. So the bot lane, you already have your hands full, and then you realize this team has been rotating 3 different laners
yeah,
all season between someone you don't know who has a vast champion ocean that is
Yep.
continuing to expand. Hide and Shrouds, who's been very solid in multiple positions, except for jungle, but we don't talk about that.
wow.
Top mid support, and then you have Kuni, who has one of my favorite champ pools. I saw him play Yi top. That was great. Then you have one of the longest names in the LBLCS, and from a captaining standpoint, you have Old No Name in the jungle, who's incredibly consistent, and can do what his team needs
Yeah.
I think this team has 6 players, which not a lot of teams can say that they have 6 guys who would reliably show up in the
Mm-hmm.
finals. That's
Mm-hmm.
really scary. That being said, if Bricks is going to beat them, it's through kind of just the strength of their all-around squad. I
Yeah.
think they've shown on multiple different occasions that their whole team is very capable of um, matching
Yeah.
decent or better squads. Catman is a really good support,
Yeah. Yeah.
very good support.
Absolutely showed up in their series on stream the other day.
Cleanest Braum I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Brick Burner is an excellent, very aggressive jungler that
Right.
I honestly love to watch because it makes you go, if I was playing against that, I'd be like 0-9.
Mm-hmm.
Red Hawk has beautiful champ pool, also just a great person, delight to be around. And then there's Manzano, who, I mean, not only does he make really good music,
Mm-hmm.
he also plays mid and plays all the mid champs that I hate as a jungler, and has a nasty Silas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this team might honestly. Oh, almost forgot about the ADC,
Mm-hmm.
who's kind of stinky, but
Kind of
nonetheless
stinky.
really good at the game. Where you have Dewey, and honestly, these two teams. And speaking of having 6 players, M. Schuller,
Mm-hmm.
who played against Crybabies,
Mm-hmm.
got shit out of them. These are both of these teams have 6 players that I would not be surprised if they showed up on the day of finals and played their minds out.
Yeah.
That's why I think these teams, this could be a 5-game banger, or it could be like a 3-0 either way.
Yeah.
This is
Absolutely.
easily could be one of the crazier series.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of like touch on like the points that I like resonated the most with me, it's like, Strix has like what is effectively like a perfect squadron. So they have a very good,
A karate squadron?
yes, they have like an incredibly good independent bot lane, right? In Verja and Slothman. I think Verja and Slothman could probably 2v2 every single bot lane in commercial and probably most, if not all, in financial. Like they are an absurd duo. And not only that, they're really friendly. And so that makes it
Really
really
nice.
easy. But just kind of on the flip side of that, they have very strong solo laners. So, like you said, that they have this kind of rotation of Cooney, Someone, and Hidden Shrouds. And all 3 of those players can play either top or mid. So they're incredibly flexible in that way and do really well. And then that kind of like X factor is All No Name, who over the past few seasons has really demonstrated that his strength is facilitating strong lanes. And like when you have Cooney, Someone, and Hide and Shrouds, you have strong lanes. And so All No Name can just play top mid, let Verja and Slothman 2v2, and like what do you even do against it? Right? And so the answer is aggressive junglers, and that's where Brickburner excels. And so,
Exactly.
like Brickburner, like it'll be. I think the key matchup here is going to be what does Brickburner do against All No Name in order to try to like get that competitive edge, be it in gold, kills, experience, whatever. So how does Brickburner like take his team to the next level and really show up against Sensei Randall? So it's going to be really cool to see that matchup. So I'm really, really excited. So guys, get that scheduled ASAP so that we can talk about it next week.
I think
Yeah,
it's already scheduled, isn't it?
it is.
I think. Don't quote me on it.
I'm not quoting you.
Give me a second.
No, it doesn't look like it's scheduled. I'm looking at the screaming schedule. Screaming?
There's a graphic. There's a graphic though.
Oh,
Maybe
shit.
I think next Sunday.
Next
6 p.m. EST.
Okay, so it'll be after, not 100% confirmed. Can you guys make that like, I don't know, like before our booth episode? I don't know. Anyway, it's fine.
Okay, but very likely.
Yeah. Okay,
Next
cool.
Sunday, 6 p.m. Okay,
Okay, cool.
we will see. Hopefully it's at that time because we can do a booth before it and be overly excited.
Yes, true. We can like turbo hype the matchup. But yeah, so that's going to be really exciting to see. Also, props to Commercial for getting all of their quarter and semifinals matches played before this episode. Well done, guys. You're the only league to do that. So yeah,
Close.
I think we've
Very close.
we've hammered down the old Commercial league. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention about these couple of teams before we move on to financial?
Very somebody wins a championship this and between the players who are here, it's kind of awesome because I think between Brick Burner and Dewey, those are kind of names that have been around the LBLCS for a while that are winning championships again or for the first time, doesn't really matter. And then on Cirques, I mean, a lot of names potentially winning. I think it would be someone's second or third. I'm cheating. Second championship is first in Commercial. Old No Name would get a championship. Verja would get his first. Like these are mainstay names who are kind of getting a championship. Oh, his third finals he's won once. Okay, so he could be two. He could knock 2 out of 3, which is nice. Very good ratio. But I think these are some awesome players who have a chance to win, and I think whoever does win will win probably 100% deserve it, unless something extremely wild happens.
Yep. So it's gonna be really cool to see that happen. All right. Moving on up to the financial league. I got 3 out of 4 quarterfinals right, and if I trusted my gut, I would have gotten all 4 right. So now I feel like a bingus. But you got 2 out of 4 correct.
Laser Moon.
I know. I bet against Laser Moon, which is a little bit cringe.
Very cringe.
Yeah. So let's see here. So according to the standings, BYU Esports B, who I never doubted, except for in semifinals, has gone ahead to finals over top of Meowington Inc. Plat, who I believe both of us had in finals. So that's really cool. So what do you think BYU kind of brought to the table that we weren't necessarily seeing in order to take games off of, because you didn't even predict them to win quarters. You had them losing in quarters, and now they're in finals. So what did they bring to the table that you didn't necessarily predict?
I highly, and when I say like I highly underestimated Gangplank, I highly underestimated Gangplank.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. I'm gonna double check my numbers, and I am correct. Gangplank has died 4 times in playoffs.
Overall, across 2 best of 3s. Well,
4 times. I don't know.
That's impressive.
That's kind of wild. Not to mention, it feels like their top side just complements the map however needed. Do they need to get fed? They'll try to do their best to get fed. Do they need to kind of dominate the map? They'll dominate the map. It is the way they play around. Like, you can look at all of their match histories and see pretty clearly where the resources go. There's game 1 versus Volatility. Gangplank ended the game with 21,000 gold.
Jesus Christ.
Right?
That's a lot.
It's a lot of fucking gold, alright? BYU Esports B has a terrifying bot lane.
Yep.
And when your top side is just there to make sure they don't throw and can even get leads and advantages which they can transition to wins, that is terrifying. That is very scary.
Yeah.
You obviously give props to the jungler because they can get in and cause way more problems. And once again, get those soul lanes ahead and allow the bot lane to accelerate themselves or accelerate the bot lane for them. So that is obviously where a lot of the credit will go. So it's honestly just, they are way better than I expected. And I apologize for predicting volatility over them.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's ending up to be like a really interesting bracket, and I think that like one of the things that we kind of touched on when we were doing like initial like the rundown on this league, financial league, is that like we don't know a whole lot about a lot of these teams. And so there's a lot of like unknown variables coming in, which is really awesome. To kind of like bringing like the new blood, and then kind of see like what can go on there. And so I'm pretty excited to see what happens. So Team Laser Moon takes on Continentals tonight at 6 p.m. So it will decide who goes to finals between those teams. And now let's see here. So you have Team Laser Moon winning, but you have like winning the bracket, but you have them winning against Meowington Platt, who just lost to BYU. So now knowing that BYU is going into the finals, and if Laser Moon beats out Continentals and gets there, what do you think? Do you think anything changes there? Do you think BYU being in finals means that the finals are closer, or even maybe Team Laser Moon gets edged out? Or do you think that it's still the same result, no change?
Okay, so these two teams, the way I feel about BYU's top side is probably the same way I feel about Team Laser Moon's bot side, where it's you have this lane that yes it can get ahead, yes it can stop an opponent, but that's not where you want your carries to be, right? Where, I mean, we've talked about Team Laser Moon, their top side, Gap top to zero, Token Film, Waga Babu, these three players terrorized Executive last season.
Yep.
Now we're here this season, and this team is just as scary as I remember it being.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to who snowballs harder in their lane, right? I think this series could easily be a 3-0 in either direction if they were to face the playoffs, because of just how strong these teams are at their individual points.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, I mean, it's just going to come down to how these games go, how these games actually just go. I could not put a predict on it, but if I was asked to make a spicy statement, I'm going to go 3-1 Laser.
Okay. All right. And now we may have gotten ahead of ourselves here, because it's not even guaranteed that Laser Moon gets to the finals, right? And so they're facing Continentals, who are coming off this heated upset victory over Washington League team. So, kind of knowing that, like, I think Laser Moon might have quite the series on their hands in order to get to finals. And Irish Ninja's coming into the chat with like big if, like it's not guaranteed that, they may be the favorites, but as we've seen from all of these brackets, being the favorites doesn't mean as much as we might think. And so I think at least for the sake of being a contrarian, I'm going to go ahead and say Continentals is going to give Laser Moon a run for their money. And I'm very excited to see that match happen at 6 p.m. tonight. So if that gets streamed, I'm tuning in. Oh, maybe I'm not. I'll tune in at some point. And if it's not getting streamed, yeah, doubting Team Laser Moon again. Yeah, here we go again. Let's see what happens. Let's run this shit back. But yeah, so it's gonna be really cool to see this happen. I went ahead and got a lot of predictions wrong on financial, but it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, will be really cool to see that happen. Yeah, I mean, is there any? Yeah.
Top lane can't carry. Who is top laner for Continentals?
Okay.
0-8 in game 1, and they won off the back of what was kind of a ridiculous snarl, if I remember it correctly. That was kind of crazy, but
yeah.
When you can lug that man onto your back and walk across the finish line against a fed Camille and a strong Zaya, I do think your team is capable of some amazing things.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wagabamu makes a great point. Bold to assume your top laner is just going to go top 8. Top 8. Oh, wait. That is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that number could be higher if you were
Yeah, it
going
is
to give
Gep top
Wagabamu.
2-0. Verja coming in with this 3-month Prime subscription. Verja, thank you very much for being the latest investor in the low-budget LCS. The Denny's, go to the Denny's in Vermont. You know the one. Go around back. Speak to our buddy Todd. He is the assistant manager there. Pancakes, they're on us. Probably butchered that, but got close. That's all that counts.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You're getting there. You know, that's like right now the tier list is like at 1, it's obviously like LeChance, and then at like 1.2, it's Papoba because he's gotten really good at it.
Yeah,
and
he
then
got really
like
good at
at
it.
like 1 point some indescribable decimal, it's Buggle.
Buggle, I mean, is there any phrase better used to describe Buggle than some indescribable decimal?
I don't think so. That's why I used it.
Yep, there you go.
I also love the banter from team to team in this. App.
This is good.
Going
This
on.
is good.
It's
Keep
fun.
it, mind the line. But yeah, I would know.
These are
Yeah, anyway, thanks Verja, really appreciate it. So financial is gonna be a really cool match. Anything else you want to say about financial before we move on to exec?
this bracket's gonna finish up great, I think.
Yep.
I really do feel bad that you predicted the financial team. I'm still not gonna doubt Legendary. I'm hoping right now. My hope is that you know, this top side of Layers of Moon, they win, and then they all go to coach like a economy team or a commercial team.
Yep.
And then they do the same thing the next season, and then they complete what no players ever completed, which is the LBLCS Golden Road, where you win every league. But I don't think that's gonna happen. But it's just how it is. Thank you, someone you don't know, for that message.
Yeah.
And so I think but all 3 teams left in this bracket could maybe take it away. Although I do think if BYU and versus Continentals does happen, it's going to be a watch. Personal opinion.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. So that's the financial league. So let's go ahead and cruise on over to executive and jump into these brackets, which neither of us did very well on.
Oh yeah, no. I Hail Married mine. I'm gonna be honest.
Yep. So definitely pretty interesting. Oh shit! I forgot to hang on. Okay, cool. I got that wrong. So got more matches wrong than I thought I did. Isn't that fun? Yeah. So I got the entire left half of the bracket wrong, and you got the entire right half of the
yeah.
You got the entire right half of the bracket wrong. You got the 9200 over Glaive correct, but
so we both got 1 quarterfinal right.
we both got 1 quarterfinal right each. And if you're at home keeping up with the math, you would notice that both Nate and I got 7 out of the 16 quarterfinal matches correct. 7 out of 16 is a number less than 0.5, which means that Nate and I are worse than a coin toss. So,
Sure.
next, we're making that the new tagline of the booth. The booth, we're worse than a coin toss. So moving on to the executive brackets. So we both got a lot wrong, and I think a lot of that is kind of to attribute to the fact that, you know, maybe the different groups within the division were a little mismatched in terms of skill. But at the same time, like, you can say that, but you can also look at, you know, the ones who we thought were the strongest groups, and they're losing to the groups we thought were maybe a little bit weaker, you know? So we had Fat Mike's as like, just like this absurdly strong team. They're out in quarters to Naughty Boys, you know? And that's like, I mean, definitely a huge surprise. You know, so I think we didn't necessarily consider all the variables on that one. But what I'm really excited for is the match tonight, at 7 p.m., which might not happen, which is the Naughty v Naughty match, which will decide who goes to finals to face off against Team Fried Chicken. Team Fried Chicken, I can speak to personal experience, is a wildly strong team. They Earl King is insane. It's not happening tonight. Confirmed from Evan Ev
Mr.
Dingus
Evding,
Dingus.
the Mr. Dingo Man.
The great birthday Snapchatter. It might not be your birthday. I'll snap you and you'll think it is. So executive is going to be pretty wild to see what happens, just because there's so much we got wrong. And so like I'm really excited to see how this goes. Thinking Tuesday, says Ev Dingus, so that's going to be cool. We'll be at work probably watching it because why not? Yeah, so just now that we have entirely new teams looking at the finals for both of our brackets, where do we think things go? So we have Team Fried Chicken locked into the finals. Can either Naughty 200 or Naughty Boys beat them? And which team do you think has the better chance?
Ooh boy. Well, it starts with realizing that Jalingo is one of those junglers that I look at and go, this person is going to cause problems, whether they are ahead or behind, right? There's nothing you can really do about it. So that's where like my head first goes. So when I say that I think they could like kind of you have a good idea of who's really good on Lord Team Fried Chicken. Like it's obviously mid ADC or like mid ADC bot. Their mid to bot is
Yeah.
crazy. Jalingo is an amazing jungler, obviously, and signing up is even better top laner. These bot like I'm looking towards mid bot. When I tell you that both of these naughty teams are not a great matchup for Team Fried Chicken, because the thing with Naughty 200 is that they're either playing Makes or X Ranger in the top lane with Food and Golf as their jungler. Food and Golf is a great jungler, and I think can actually very much take over a game ahead of behind, and is a sinner for being a Hecarim player, but you can't do anything about it, right? So, and then you look at Naughty Boys, you've got the Kled player in Tarded, plus Yurika.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, absolutely, like, two teams that can come in just extremely strong. So I'm, like, really, really excited to see kind of, like, who takes that final spot. I am predicting I'm putting all my faith in my fellow Group C friends over at the Naughty 200. So that's, Evdupus in the bot lane, X Ranger up top, Evdup, yeah, whatever. And then
Is that so?
Yeah.
You guys would be PC Seer Boy?
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is that when I predict your team to win, it's effectively as good as predicting it to lose. So yeah, you're cursed. Work against it. Sorry, guys.
Good luck, bro.
So I'm predicting Naughty 200 to go to the finals, and I'm predicting Team Fried Chicken to beat Naughty 200 in that finals. What do you got?
I've got Naughty Boys going to finals. I think.
Okay.
While I actually think Naughty 200 have a stronger top jungle, I have more faith in the Naughty Boys mid bot lane, and I think they can actually really take over a game.
Okay.
Which I think could be really useful against Early King, Perky, and Chaimiao. Chaimiao?
Shamu.
Shamu, sure. So I think if you can match that bot lane, you can absolutely kind of take over the game.
Yep.
And that's where I think a lot of Team Fried Chicken's strength lies. So I think if you can mash them or take them down on that side, that's where I'd say it gets wavy, where I think it's very easy for them to kind of get stormed over. So
Yep.
my prediction is Naughty Boys go to the finals, and Naughty Boys beats Team Fried Chicken.
You think Naughty Boys will beat Team Fried Chicken?
Yep.
Wow. That's fun. Except for the part where they were in the same group together. And I don't think that they beat Team Fried Chicken in that group. So what do you think Naughty Boys is going to do differently to take on that Team Fried Chicken?
In the words of Early King, they're just gonna win. They're just
Yeah,
gonna
true.
play better.
True.
They're
Yeah.
just gonna be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really explain it past that.
Yep. I mean, Naughty Boys is comprised of a team full of like pretty much like like a lot of veterans of the LBLCS, and I think it's a bit like a reunification of a bunch of players who used to play on a team together, and I think won a while back, or at least got very close to it. And I think what we're not really considering there is this is a position that these guys have been in for a little while, and they've done it before and they've succeeded. And so, Team Fried Chicken, they've got a bunch of like hot start young shots. Wait, hot shot young, fuck it. So it's a little bit of like old versus new if Naughty Boys ends up going to those finals. So definitely going to be really exciting to see what happens. We will find out on Tuesday, asterisk, maybe. That's all that I've got for the Executive League. Is there anything else you wanted to drop in here?
I've got nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, we just glossed over the fact that PCG just got fucking obliterated. But anyway,
Sorry, we didn't talk about how Fat Mike's ruined both of our brackets.
yeah, come on, Fat Mikes. What the fuck, guys? Anyway, just to recap, as the LCS goes live, our matches tonight, 6 p.m. is Continentals versus Team Laser Moon to see who is going to take that final spot versus BYU Esports B. And then at 9 p.m. we have Serenity Esports Academy taking on Victory to see who will take the final spot versus Meowington Inc. Gold. And then later, sometime this week, we're going to be seeing the Naughty v Naughty matchup, which is going to be really exciting to watch. So that's my must-watch match, because I think that's going to be the closest one. But my predictions evidently don't mean shit. So
It's okay.
anyway, so that's all that we have for you today, unless there's anything that I've missed, Nate.
Nothing.
Okay.
Not I've noticed.
Okay, sounds good. All right, well then I'll let you take us out of here. Take it away.
It takes two to tango.
Oh, it indeed takes two to tango. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week, hopefully with some good finals updates. All right, have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.